It's like that sometimes, bud. Washington
Right.
is here with us on 104.5 The Zone. So this is a great game, obviously, and we'll talk about the more specifically the Titans and their passing game right now and what you've made of Traylon Burks. But what excites you about this game in particular?
Well, obviously the biggest storyline, AJ Brown facing his former team, the scrutiny and all of the hardships that they went through together, just getting back together. I mean, obviously, I think that's the number one thing on the board for the fans. I think as far as team-wise, these teams understand that they're both in a pretty good position to submerge themselves into that heavy playoff rotation of contenders that can possibly go to the Super Bowl. I think both of these teams have a great opportunity to make a splash in these playoffs, and I think they both understand that it's all about December football and how you're leading into these playoffs. So they'll both probably come out wanting to play some quality football on and complimentary football in every phase of the game. But, obviously for us, the fans, it's all about this A.J. Brown versus the Tennessee Titans situation. It's not only about us winning this game, but, making sure that they kind of keep him in check, So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I was once one of those guys that unfortunately had to leave the Tennessee Titans in the manner that I did and went to an actual rival in the conference to the Texans. So I know how I felt going back and playing the Titans and, the energy and the expectation leading into those games for me personally. So I'm pretty sure there will definitely be some tension there.
Okay, there's a couple of different things here that I want to follow up on. But like, why do the players lie to me, Nate, when I ask them if a game like this means more to them? Obviously, there are emotions that are involved. What is the harm in saying, yeah, it means a lot. We want to go out there and beat this guy because, we love him and we still keep in contact. But on Sunday, it's all fair in love and war.
I guess the best way that I can approach this is in a dual shootout back in the Western days, they would take how many ever steps they would take, but occasionally there would be that cheater that turns around a little quick too early.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to that. We don't want to show the full hand of our passion. We don't want this guy, this organization, these fans to think that my pure drive for this game is predicated upon one person. You don't want to give someone ultimate control over yourself in the media, in the ambiance of the game, for them to think that it's all about them. But essentially, even like I stated, leaving Titans and coming back, a lot of it was me, driving force for me to go back and prove those wrong, for me to go back and, show the organization or those that let me go that they made a mistake. And a lot of those times, it's hard for a player to give that information off, especially honestly, Buck, to the media, because
Yeah.
we don't want any bulletin board material. We don't want this to be his idea of coming out and now I said something, now it just becomes a war. It's already a war. We know in our mind of minds as the player that has left or as the players that are still in that organization having to face that guy that has left, that this is going to be a battle. This is going to be emotional. This is going to be an understanding of, this is not just about me being friends with the guys that I was previously in the locker room with last year. Like, especially in AJ's situation. I left differently, but, under AJ's understanding, this definitely wasn't a happy departure. Nothing about it. The way that he was handled, the way that he's done. There's been so many things said in the media that were during that time that were, I guess, him alluding to his unhappiness. And, from a personal standpoint from him, it's obvious. This game is going to mean something to him. And I think it's nothing but even more obvious for these DBs that they're going to have to be ready because you're not facing a typical just asset to a team. A.J. Brown is definitely one of the top receivers in this league. And as he hurt my Pittsburgh Steelers this year, I think he put up like 3 touchdowns in them alone.
Oy. He hit the who's the safety, the stud safety that the Steelers have. He hit he hit Minka Fitzpatrick with the too small, Nate. It's the most disrespectful thing I've seen this year.
Listen. Yeah, it's serious, man. Like I said, you're not going into this facing just a system guy that is going to fit in their system and they'll get past him when they can. No, A.J. Brown is definitely top 10 receivers in this league, and he's definitely going to want and deserve a lot of action in this game that this DBs are going to have to be prepared for.
Former Titans wide receiver Nate Washington is here with us on 104.5 The Zone. So let's take that to the locker room. And obviously, Nate, I understand that you don't speak for all of the players in that locker room, but I did think it was interesting because I had a question asked of me from a Titans fan, basically. How much animosity do you think that locker room has towards AJ? My initial response was, well, probably next to none, because everybody in that locker room, in these locker rooms, having not been there myself, but in conversations with enough of you guys, it is about how you can make your money to continue to change your life, your family's life, and future generations of Washingtons or Browns or whomever you are. I don't think that kind of animosity exists for AJ going out and getting paid.
No, definitely. You're completely right, Buck. And the situation entails just completely being understanding to the business side of the game. For the players in the Titans locker room, unless there's some personal beef that he's gotten into that we all don't know about, for the Titans locker room, I pretty much can, like you said, I can't speak for everyone, but, just being in that situation, there is no hard feelings or upset, tension towards AJ. I mean, there's obviously going to be, hey, we need to keep our head on the swivel. This guy's going to be ready to play. But, animosity or hard feelings towards AJ, I don't see player there. Players understand that this is a business. They understand that, organizations make moves like this. And you have a lot of good connections with these guys that you've encountered in these locker rooms. So I don't anticipate, let me say that, because me telling you I don't think could definitely work into something happening on the field that we aren't expecting. But I don't anticipate any of the players themselves having any personal issues against AJ, like I said, unless there's something that happened behind closed doors that we don't know about. Sure. Now, AJ facing them may be a little more intense because, as I stated, even in it being a business move for the organization, an opportunity for AJ to take care of his family, essentially you still want to prove to AJ's still going to want to prove to the Titans that they've made a mistake. And in that mind frame, everybody's lunch meat. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what they've done to you. It doesn't matter if they've ever done anything to you. Every guy that you face on that field he's facing on that field on Sunday is going to be an opportunity for him to prove to the Titans that they made a mistake. I remember facing Paris Cox when I came back to the Titans, and me and Paris had actually hung out in that offseason prior to us starting the season. We had a real good rapport. But when I tell you I wanted to go at Paris so bad, I wanted to embarrass him. And I made sure I dapped him up after the game, showed him love. But I wanted to embarrass him because he was their new corner. He was the guy that they brought in. They paid a lot of money. And they had just let me go. Yeah. So, as I stated, Paris had no feelings towards me. Oh, but Paris was lunch meat for me. Like, he was going to be fooled. I had to prove to the organization that they made a mistake, and that's what I anticipate coming from AJ.
God, I love that so much, Nate. I'll dap you up afterwards, but not until I roast your ass.
Definitely. It has to be that way. You go out there with friends, man, and you mess around and drop a ball, or you mess around and they get a turnover off of you, whether it be a fumble or interception. Man, they're going to let you have it. You know what I'm saying? Not only are they going to let you have it, but both fan bases are going to let you have it. The organization's looking over there at you like, we did right by letting you go. So, in a lot of sense, you got to be on all P's and Q's, crossing all T's and dotting all I's, because at the end of the day, like I said, this was more heartfelt on AJ's side than it was the players in this locker room. And in that concept, at that point, hey, I'll talk to y'all after the game. But right now, it's time to eat.
At NWash85 is where you can follow him on Twitter. So, I mean, there's obviously a generational thing there, Nate, with AJ and the behavior on social media. But, like, it's even – I'm 4 years older than AJ. AJ's 25, I'm 29. I don't understand what the hell he's doing spending so much time on the internet because it cannot be enjoyable other than, like, I mean, maybe he enjoys it in ways that make no sense to me, but I cannot for the life of me understand why he continues to just jab at people here.
Right. Oh, well, like you said, me myself, I don't understand it as well, so I can't really speak for him. I had no social media when I was playing ball for that very reason. I just didn't want to get caught in the emotional exchanges. Even if I wasn't talking to a specific person, I could be petty at times too. So I get it.
You know, I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Yeah, you know, Buck, man. But in the same sense, you know, like, there's a different day and age. You know, I can't speak for him, but obviously this season in his responses via social media has definitely been something that he's, you know, enjoyed watching on the end of the Titans. He's seen the dismay in the passing game. The record speaks for itself. And him being on the side that he's on with a quarterback in Jalen, with the team and the Eagles, the way that they're playing, you know, he's in layman's terms, he's feeling himself. You know what I'm saying? He's feeling himself, and he's being the troll. I guess in a lot of these instances, you don't expect the person playing, the athlete, the celebrity, the public figure, whatever it is, to be the troll. A lot of times people are just trolling them. They come at them, and he's being a troll. And I agree with you. It's almost to the sense where you're sitting there like, okay, we got it. Like, but why continue on? But in the same sense, like I said, I can't speak for him. I don't know where he's at emotionally with this team. I don't know with the Titans. I don't know what type of person he is. I've engaged with AJ, but I've never actually met and had a conversation with him, so I haven't had that opportunity. But obviously, you know, there's the heartbreak there. You know, I don't know if he'll agree with this, but you know, that whole situation in itself was a heartbreak. You know, in all honesty, when we drafted AJ, I was cross-eyed. I was thinking like, well, what happened to this guy DK Metcalf that everybody's been talking about? All this film that I've seen, his size and all this, and we go out and get his counterpart, first-round draft, and I'm like, well, who is this guy? You know, I honestly, I didn't know too much about AJ, so it's obvious his path has been, although he's a first-rounder, his path has been unexpected, and he expected so much more from that organization that drafted him that didn't work out. So, and in all honesty, he's just lashing out like a little kid, but I'm sure he'll grow out of it. You know, hopefully this game will go past and he'll let things go. The Titans organization and fan base will let things go, and everybody will move on for the best.
Nate Washington here with us on 104.5 The Zone, a second-round pick, but still a high-level second-round pick. Jeffrey Simmons, the first-round pick in that NFL draft. A really, really good draft for the Tennessee Titans. But I completely understand your point there. Now, let's talk about Treylon Burks and this Titans passing game, Nate. Obviously, you know, they are not a better football team for having traded away AJ, no matter how many different ways you want to litigate it. They're still succeeding despite the limitations that we all know that they have. What just generally are your observations about, first, this offense, and then we can talk a little bit about Treylon?
Well, ironically enough, I think I'll start at Todd Downing. I think, you know, he's had, you know, obviously some up and downs throughout these games this year, but I think he's catching a feel for what the complete passing game, and what I mean by that is all of the receivers, the tight ends, and the running backs are able to contribute as a whole. Having a guy like A.J. Brown, you can go out and call individual routes. You can go out and call play actions that are specifically designed for AJ because you know what type of talent he has. But as you stated, you know, not having that talent anymore and the effect that it has on this team, you're going to have a collective effort of guys putting in, making sure they're making up for his absence and doing everything they can to help out this tremendous run game. I think Treylon has done a great job of evolving. Not going to lie. Spring training camp, beginning of the year, I was very disappointed. I don't know him. I never met him. I want to make that disclaimer right now. But in the same sense, I want a guy, and I'm not saying that he's not, but I want a guy that shows his passion about playing football. And I just feel like a lot of things were just a lot of passive for Traylon. It was just like, okay, well, I appreciate the opportunity. I'm not going to be AJ. I'm just here to work and get better. That's cool, but I also need you to have a sense of urgency to know that you're not AJ, but there are huge shoes to fill. And in that regard, that comes with a lot of work. You have to put in the work. This is not just about learning plays. This is not just about catching jugs on a jugs machine. Balls off the jugs machine after practice. You are going to have to be in practice, engaged, giving everything that you have to make sure that you're becoming better. And I think as of late, we're seeing now the product of him working his tail off. I think the absence that he had with the injury, I don't know what happened in that moment, but it's obvious there was a eureka moment in that, leave of absence from the team of him being injured, that he's come back now and he's making big plays. He's making some splash plays in a long passing game, but he's also being reliable in the short passing game. And in that regard, it gives you opportunity now to look at a wide open Robert Woods, to take a Austin Hooper up the scene because he's wide open, to take a Deontay Hiller out of the backfield because there's more opportunity for him. It opens up everybody else, and it's why, because it's a collective effort. And I started at Todd because I think me, you, everybody had questions about his play calling initially, but he's finding a way to take his shots during the game, whether they're 2 or 3 shots, but he's also finding a way to strategically help Ryan understand the scheme of the plays and not just looking for or relying on that special guy. And everybody is contributing. Everybody is doing their job. I'm very grateful to see Hooper obviously getting the opportunities that he should have, because when we first picked him up, I was like, okay, there it is. We needed that tight end. It's obvious that Ryan loves to read the middle of the field. We needed a solid tight end. So now seeing Hooper getting the opportunities that he's getting, it's all just a collective bargaining. Like, everybody's pitching in. As they used to say, when you're in the trenches, everybody got to be willing to pick up a pitch and get to work. And that's exactly what's going on in this passing game. And not only is Traylon becoming better here at the back end of the season, becoming more reliable, but I just like everybody is a cohesive contributor to the passing game that is helping out.
He's Nate Washington. He's the best. We should have him on more often. I'll be better about texting, and we'll do that more often. Nate, it's always great to talk to you, my guy. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy, buddy.
Thank you, Buck. I appreciate it anytime, man.